Hey everyone, so I recorded an intro, but when I went to look back, I couldn't find it, so maybe my thumb didn't actually hit record. But anyways, this is just a short intro to say what the purpose of this reading is. We are going to get into what it is that you guys are here to illuminate on the planet at this time. I've drawn 6 piles for you guys today, so really tune into your intuition as you're selecting your pile. And we're going to be covering 2 aspects within these readings. So one of your main gifts within this incarnation and what it is that you are here to illuminate for others and how you illuminate that. So I really hope you enjoy these readings. I'll see you guys soon. What's up, group number 1? Here is your reading for what you are here to illuminate on the planet at this time. So the first thing that is very apparent is, one of your main gifts is you tend to trigger a lot of growth within other people. You tend to catalyze a lot of spiritual growth and just expansion of awareness within other people. So you get other people to think differently. You tend to be in and out of all types of dynamics. So I'm just seeing you as someone that has a lot of situationships or just relationships in general. Doesn't have to be romantic. These can be absolutely platonic, but it just seems like you have a lot of connections, and it seems like one of your gifts, you're just here to make a lot of connections and to inspire a lot of people. Now, I am hearing that sometimes along with this gift and along with being a person that is consistently on a path of transformation, is that can be triggering for other people. That can be triggering for people that you're in more obligatory types of dynamics with. So what I mean by that is like family, close family, people that you have to see, relatives, etc. So it can be really triggering for people who can't necessarily walk away from you in this lifetime, because I am hearing that when you start to catalyze growth for people in a way that causes them to see their shadow, and look at areas that are really painful or hard for them to acknowledge within themselves. I hear it's, people are either here for it or they're not. And so it's very polarizing energy that I'm getting. But overall, you are here to inspire a lot of growth within other people. And so the people that can't necessarily walk away from you, I feel like you just trigger the hell out of them, unless they're on the same page as you or on board with how you see things and how you see the nature of reality. But I'm just hearing that you are someone who has just come a long way. You might not have always been like this, someone that spoke your truth and stood up for yourself, or whatever, but you are showing up as, what you're here to illuminate for others is, exactly this. You're here to illuminate their shadow side. And I feel like one of the reasons it can be disheartening for other people, or you can seem like overly critical to people, or like you're judging people, but it's not even that. That's not actually what's happening. I'm seeing you as one of your gifts is you don't attach your sense of identity, or there's not an over attachment or an over investment in your flaws or these characteristic quirks that you have. I'm hearing that you've done a lot of soul growth. You really understand the nature of things in a way that makes sense to you within this incarnation. And so it's like when you are understanding patterns within yourself, that's what you see them as. You just see them as patterns. And so other people who haven't been on the path to the extent that you have, and that are not even truly aware of what real spirituality is, or the root of what spirituality is here for, it can be very triggering for them, because they have identified so much with those parts of themselves, right? There's an over-identification with things that are temporal and transient, which includes thoughts, which includes, just our karmas running itself off. So you are really here to help people, see the necessity and the goodness, and, to help them embrace both sides of themselves, right? That's what you're here to help illuminate. You're here to help illuminate the shadow within others. So you guys might even be like freedom fighters. You guys might be, individuals that you know, I'm just hearing people that watch those documentaries that, you know, you can't find in search engines and stuff because they've been taken down. So people that are really, you know, learn about the cabal and, you know, do research about the Illuminati and, you know, those kind of darker things that are going on the planet. But I hear that you do so tastefully. You're not going down the rabbit hole to the point where you come across as, like, you come across very sound is what I'm hearing. Or someone that really knows, someone who is very credible in other areas. So take that with however it resonates. But overall, one of the gifts that you're here to bring to people is you're here to show them how to navigate their depressions and how to navigate their insecurities and how to, again, this is building off of what you are, like one of your main gifts. You show people the journey of transformation, and you show people how to set themselves free, right? How to free themselves from the making of their own mind. And I'm hearing one of your gifts too is you are here to show people a very different way of existing and to kind of wake people up to what's really going on this planet. And you really question a lot is what I'm hearing. You question the systems. You really don't like the systems that are in place. You question them and you want to know. And a huge part of your life's purpose is in developing and aiding to new ways of doing things that are supportive of everyone and not just a select few. And so, but I'm hearing you do so to a point to where you don't let your own frequency slip because of it. And if anything, you know, one of the gifts you're here to bring to humanity is understanding that we have a hell of a lot more power available to us when we acknowledge the shadow, right? Because as within, so without. So, you know, everything that we see, all of the chaos and turmoil that we see externally, you know, it's just, again, a projection of this internalized battle that we all go through, which is the battle for self-mastery, right? That's what the Bhagavad Gita says is the only battle, or the only battle worth our fight, right? Is the internal battle, the battle for self-mastery. And so it seems like you are someone who is very consciously on that path for self-mastery. I am getting a sense of someone that just takes things seriously, but not to the point to where it becomes detrimental, right? Not to the point to where you understand when you're doing research or when you're learning about certain things and you're learning about the true history of the planet, you don't do so to a point to where you're now affected in a negative way. Like you know what you need to know so you can move forward, right? But yeah, overall, I'm hearing that your expression might be uncomfortable for many people, but it's like you are at a place to where you kind of understand that your role here. You understand your role on the planet, right? So very powerful group, not easy work, not easy work to be in. But overall, I do hear overall you have a lot of respect from people. And the more that you speak your truth, the more that you honor fully and entirely your expression and you honor your intuition and your instincts, the more respect that you gain from other people, regardless if they are at a point to where they can see how you've reached your conclusions, or, you know, because I'm just getting that you're very not mainstream. You don't think in alignment with a lot of mainstream beliefs, but the way that you voice it and the way that you express it, I think does so in a way that helps disarm people, or that's what you're learning how to do as the years go by. So I hope this brought some peace to your heart, some confirmation about what you're here to bring to the planet at this time. Thank you for being here. If this video resonated, please give it a thumbs up. Leave any synchronicities down in the comments, and I hope I see you guys soon. What's up, pile number 2? So I'm going to get right into your reading. Right away, I just want to say, wow. This group, tuning into this energy, I'm just feeling so embraced. And I'm feeling like I'm home. Or there's the sense of, you know, what you bring to other people. I'm really feeling that you bring a sense of people feeling safe and people feeling like no matter what's going on in the world, that as long as there's someone like you that exists, that things are going to be okay. And man, so one of your main gifts in this life is, you know, we have this card that says longing for home and homesick for the stars. I feel like while you guys may have definitely experienced periods of that sense of feeling homesick and feeling like Earth is not your native planet and like you stick out like a sore thumb, I am hearing that you have accepted the mission overall. You've accepted why your soul chose to come here at this time. And because of that, because you understand your true home, right? And this is not even necessarily you understand if you resonate with being a starseed, which I wouldn't be surprised if those people drawn to this. I feel like you guys would be the pile that has absolutely done all of your research and has probably even been in communication with your other native planets, right? So I'm just hearing overall that, you know, I'm not even just talking about, you know, where your true home is in terms of your native planets. I feel like ultimately you're a soul that just is so devoted to the cosmos itself. This is a pile that feels very cosmic, right? There's a lot of cosmic intelligence coming through. There's a lot of healing with this, you know, this pink blush energy. It's like you just wrap people in this ethereal blanket that they're like, I don't know why, but when I'm around this person, things just feel like they're gonna be okay, right? So I feel like you developing that sense of home, home away from home within yourself, or understanding home is just wherever you are. You allow people to, one of your gifts is you help people come to that space within themselves, that sacred space within, because there's a lot of heart chakra energy coming through with all of this pink. And yeah, I'm hearing the one last thing about this is that when you really develop a close bond with someone, and even if you just hang out with someone like once or twice, I'm hearing that people really miss you when you're gone. And you're just very unique. You're very rare. I feel like one of your gifts, one of your strongest gifts within this lifetime is just making a huge mark on people on the level of the heart. So you're very vulnerable, you're very compassionate, you're very open, you're very transparent, no matter how long it's taken you to get there. And no matter how much you maybe feel like you're not giving enough or you're not transparent enough, I'm just hearing you are just above and beyond. My pile number 2. I feel like I want to cry. I don't know. Yeah, you just move people, and you're just someone that people go to when they feel like they have nowhere else to turn, or I'm getting this very maternal energy of like you are there for your people, you show up for your people, right? And so one of the things that you're here to help illuminate within other people is that same space within themselves, right? This Fool card is kind of the energy of just like really trusting, man. Just really opening your heart, right? Opening yourself up to be guided by the divine, to be guided by your higher self, by your soul self. You're really here to show people. I mean, the Fool represents, it's kind of, to me, it's like that feminine archetype of, you know, when you're growing up and you're like in your teens, and I might have some in their teens that are tuning into this, who knows? But I just remember when I got out of boarding school, I was like 17, 18, and I just had this feeling of like, wow, my whole life is ahead of me and I can do anything, I can go anywhere. And there was that sense of just, you know, the beautiful naivety that comes along with, you know, those early adolescent years, right? And not saying that has to go away, but for a lot of people, karma ends up becoming so thick and taking over so much that they kind of lose touch with that. But I'm hearing not you. Maybe you did for a little bit. Maybe you have had that moment or, you know, that period in your time where things got really dark. I wouldn't be surprised, because some of our brightest beings on this planet, those beings that came here to make the most amount of change, have been through the toughest shit, right? The more advanced souls tend to take on a lot more karma, just because they, you know, not even necessarily for their own lessons. Generally, advanced souls don't have many lessons of their own to learn. And they've taken that bodhisattvic vow where they're essentially coming back, or they're coming to Earth, essentially to help with the ascension process, right? But I'm just hearing that, you know, one of your gifts and what you're here to help illuminate is kind of just what you embody. You just embody this radiance that is, again, otherworldly. I just keep hearing you're very ethereal is what I'm hearing, very otherworldly. And it shows through your face, like you just glow. And you have a look within your eyes. Your eyes are extremely bright, right? You're here to illuminate within other people their ability to tap into that same type of cosmology, right? And to do the inner work and to continue to be in that space of anything is possible. Anything is possible. We can do anything, right? And to kind of shake people's worlds up and getting them out of this routine and out of the mundane and out of the boring, right? That's not to say that life isn't going to have its moments where we plateau or it's ebbs, whatever, right? But ultimately residing more in this space of anything is possible, right? And I feel like you probably do that within your own day-to-day life. You like to change things up. You like to keep the energy fresh. You like to keep that spark alive, that inner fire, right? It needs to be ignited for you to really feel like it's what's helped you navigate the darkest moments of your life, because there was a deeper part of you that was like, this is for something. I don't know how, but I just know there's something within me that feels like this is going to add to my story and this is going to add to my badassery down the line. I feel like you learned that, right? That's where you learned that sense of resiliency that people recognize within you. It's like you're always starting over. Like, I'm getting very much Phoenix rising moments. And this is something that you help other people. What your expression naturally teaches other people is those Phoenix rising moments are nothing to be ashamed of. Falling down is exciting, right? When we see our shadow or when shit's falling apart around us in our life, that's exciting, right? Because that's where you thrive. That's where you really learn how far you've come. You learn the type of person that you are, but you really show people that it's just a permission slip, right? Every time something falls apart, every time you leave a relationship or a dynamic or whatever, it's like you come back 1,000 times stronger, right? And it pisses some people off because they want to see you fall, or, you know, your expression, your boldness, just how you impact other people has made them feel insecure, or, you know, it's triggered them in some way, right? That's their work, that's their karma, whatever. We're all going to do it to each other at some point. But overall, most people are just left in awe by you. And so you teach them. You teach them that it's all here to set you free. You teach them that it's all here to keep you in this space of keeping you on your toes, right? The less you think that you know, the more that you realize we don't actually know, the more that you align with that cosmic intelligence, right? And so you teach people that, you know, you're not putting on a show, and you're really just showing up real and raw in each moment. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful energies, my pile number 2. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your expression. And if this video resonated, please hit that like button and maybe leave a comment down below with any synchronicities that stood out in particular. It all helps my channel expand and grow. So I appreciate it so much. Thanks for being here. I hope I see you soon. What's up, pile number 3? Here is your reading for what you are here to illuminate on the planet at this time. I just want to start off and say first and foremost that y'all know why the fuck you're here. My pile number 3s are beings that, you know, one of your biggest gifts that I'm hearing is that from a young age, you had felt that you were here for a really big reason. And that reason might not have always been clear, but I am hearing that regardless of what your early incarnation looked like, so what experiences you went through in childhood and what experiences you went through in adolescence, whatever, I feel like ultimately you understood that those first couple decades, you understand that they're here to shape you in a certain way for a certain reason, right? You inherently understand that it's part of your gifts. It's part of your soul's blueprint. It's part of what you're here to bring to the planet at this time, right? We have soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. So I feel like what I'm hearing is that you guys have always felt from a young age that you were here for something big. And part of that is your just undeniable connection to spirit. You have an undeniable connection to spirit. I'm hearing that this is a pile of extremely advanced souls. Those beings that are tuning into this are extremely advanced individuals. You know, comparison game aside, it's just you are existing above and beyond the realms of most people. You've taken many births. Some of you, Earth is your native planet, and some of you come from other star systems. Or when I say come from, I just mean that your native planet isn't necessarily Earth, where some souls are incarnating over and over again, mainly on Earth, maybe taking birth on other planets and with other constellations, galaxies maybe. That's not going to resonate for everyone, right? Some people may feel like this is maybe one of their first few incarnations on this planet. But regardless of that, it's like you have taken many incarnations many different experiences you've had to kind of climb this ladder, to climb the ladder of densities, and to just really that's taking you closer to the way things are, right? From our limited, our finite minds trying to understand something infinite is impossible, right? By nature, that is literally impossible. But I feel like you guys, what you embody comes very close to a lot of these higher truths that we hear the ascended masters speak of time and time again. I'm hearing that you guys you're just so relaxed about your path. Like, I feel like there's a part of you that maybe at some point you might have felt like you were getting frustrated because you felt like you should be somewhere else, or you should be farther along, or like your expanded levels of consciousness are just above and beyond what is actually being experienced in your physical body. And so, that's generational karma. That's just, the average levels of where humanity is operating at. It's the state of our food, right? It's just, I feel like you have just come to terms with understanding that although you can be experiencing things that are not desirable, that inherently that doesn't bog you down really, right? That your freedom lies much more beyond that. And you are just an individual. One of your gifts is just seeing that, just seeing that it's just all a play. Right. And I'm hearing that you're just a very lighthearted individual to be around. You're very inspiring to be around for other people. And I am hearing that this is a group that, the path that you've chosen for yourself is very different from the mainstream. So even if you grew up in a family where they said it was like education, get your education, get a job, yada, yada, get a 9-to-5. Whilst some of you might be in that position still, a large part of you, what I'm tuning in from my pile number 3 is you found a different way, or you are on your way to finding a different way. So you're not, trading your entire life just to survive, right? And if money has to be part of this reality, then you're like, I'm going to make it in a way that I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I know I'm offering my gifts and my service to the planet. So that's one of your main gifts, is you are someone that people are like, you just scream Dharma warrior, man. You scream someone who knows what they're here for, who knows who they are, who knows what they're about. And that level of confidence in yourself just radiates. And I'm seeing just like a multitude of different types of people, right? I'm seeing different shapes, different colors, different sizes, tattoos, no tattoos, different hairstyles, I'm just seeing like you show people whatever you embody. I feel like you can embody certain polarizing or seemingly opposite characteristics. So for example, like maybe you're a mom, but you have like tattoo sleeves or something, right? Or maybe you're someone that is like a teacher, but you have like a mohawk or something. I'm seeing these things where you help to shatter ideas and you help to break open boxes. So people are less trying to conform, right? It's like you're the type of person that people can't figure you out. They can't put you in a box. And so, that's one of your main gifts, is you're like, people can't put their finger on you. And like, you're just so true to the moment, right? And you're just so true to whatever phase you're going through. And you're so true to whatever purge is happening, whatever dark night of the soul is happening. And you're so true to when things get really good and when you're riding that wave of success, right? You're just true to the moment. Right. And I'm hearing that, one of the things that you're here to illuminate within other people is that same thing within them. Right. You're here to illuminate that within other people with this Lover's card here. One of the main ways that look at this. We have love it's an inside job. So I feel like one of your main ways of teaching people, one of your main ways of extending this sense of, surrendering to your destiny life is you come across very like open-handed and very like nonchalant, right? There's like this divine nonchalance about you. So I feel like when people come into contact with you, they know that it's something very special, right? They know that they've come in contact with someone who is a rare type of being on a path that not many others have decided to or have the tools to merge with as well. And so I feel like when like people understand that when they are in your life, they feel like it is symbolic for change, or just having someone like you, talking to them, or being friends, or being connected to someone like you, I feel like makes people feel like they are able to live their destiny, right? Something about your expression, like when people know someone like you, it's like they take it symbolically that they are doing something right and that they too can be someone. And when I say be someone, I mean not from the sense of like tooting our ego, but be someone in the sense of like I have big dreams and it's possible to attain them, right? And so I'm overall hearing that when you are in a romantic dynamic, you are an extremely incredible lover. Like that's one of the things that you help illuminate for other people, because you're probably a soul that is, the wind takes you where it will take you, right? And so I feel like people understand that, you're not making commitments for lifetimes out here with people. And because of that, because you're like, I love you, I'm here for you, but overall my mission is the most important, right? You help people see what's the most important, right? And that's the connection to source, right? That's more important than having, my sexual fantasies kicked, or, writing these waves of honeymoon phases in this age of social media and social dating apps, where it's so easy to be onto the next one, and kind of riding that high. I feel like just you and your expression when you are in an intimate dynamic, and I keep coming back to it just because this is a lover's card, so I feel like this is a very strong point that you convey to other people, is like you're here as long as it's relevant, and not even in like a you're disposable to me kind of way, but you just really communicate to people that there is a higher plan and you are going to follow that above anything else. No matter if walking away from someone is painful to your own self, if you can see that it's becoming detrimental to their soul's plan, their soul's growth, and especially your own soul's plan and your own soul's growth, you have no problem walking away. And I feel like that's one thing that is so powerful that you communicate. And one of your main ways of illuminating to other people is because they're like, wow, this person, there's nothing on this planet that could make this person sway from what they're here for, right? There's nothing, you communicate, there's nothing I need from you. And so that's what makes you a bomb lover, because it's an inside job. You've already tapped into that wellspring internally. So beautiful reading. I'm going to leave this here for now. If this resonated, please give it a thumbs up. If any synchronicities came up, please leave those in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. What's up, pile number 4? Here is your reading for what you are here to illuminate on the planet at this time. So first and foremost, we are going to tap into one of your main gifts on this planet, or just this time around, I should say. One of your main gifts is you are not here to follow the herd. You are not here to take orders from other people. You are not here to have someone tell you how your life should be lived. You are a visionary. You are someone that is a leader, right? You don't follow others. You forge your own path, right? You are, I'm getting that you just have access to, you get a lot of visions and you see what the world could be. And it feels so obvious to you. You're like, how the fuck does no one else see this? Like, the answer is so simple. The solution is so simple. But that says more about you, right? And I'm not getting the sense that you're necessarily someone that wears rose-tinted glasses. However, I do feel that you understand that in order to move forward to a new place, if we're dissatisfied with where we're at, the scales in terms of us feeling like it's going to go really well, those scales have to be tipped to where that's like at least 51% of your consciousness is like things are going to go well, right? And hopefully you get more and more to the point where you're living in flow with life, to where you feel like, okay, you just expect it's all going to go well, even if it doesn't go according to your plan that your ego can fathom, right? Or the limited self is what I mean by the ego. So I feel like you don't have rose-tinted glasses. You're very real about what's going on and what's possible. However, ultimately, you are always going to choose to believe that this world can be a better place, right? And that's one of your main gifts. Very visionary. Pave a new path. Be the leader that you wish you had. So I'm hearing that, your main gift is you don't follow the herd, and you, whatever you're doing or whatever you want to do, I feel like it's probably always been different, right? I feel like you have always been someone that is like, you weren't in a rush to go out and get a job, or if you were, it was like, it wasn't because of what mass consciousness, it wasn't for the reasons of what mass consciousness assumes it to be. So what I mean by that is like, maybe you went out and got a job because you wanted to work on your people skills, or you got a certain type of job because you wanted to work on your sociability. Like, oh, I want to work on connecting better with people, so I'm going to become a barista, or whatever, right? It's like your reason for doing things is a lot different than other people. Where you're coming from is a lot different, right? And so I'm just hearing, since a young age, you saw things a lot differently than people around you. You had a very active crown chakra, is what I'm hearing. You've always had the gift of clear sight with this Ace of Swords coming through, and clear communication. You've had clear communication from your guides, and you've had a clear, I'm hearing that one of the reasons you are so positive is because you have seen how all of your challenges have only ever aided you to being better. And so it's like, you can't help it. It's not like this half, or this glass half full thing is something that you have to force yourself into. It's very natural. It's like your disposition naturally is one that you are, you forge forward, right? Pioneer. So it's a pioneer. It's someone that doesn't give up at the first sight of hardship, or at the first sight of the plan not going well, or something falling apart. It's like, this is like someone that has really had to pick themselves up from the bootstraps, right? And I'm hearing that also one of your gifts, and what you're here to illuminate for other people and to illuminate to others is you help people find true healing, right? You bring people in with in tune with nature. So some of you guys might be into like herbology, or study Ayurveda, or it's like, I'm hearing that you work with the elements, you work with nature. That's one of the ways that you are helping to bring illumination to the planet, is getting people back in touch with nature. And I feel like that's also probably too why you are an individual that just sees things very clearly, and you have a lot of insight, right? I feel like this is the group that gets a lot of downloads a lot, right? I mean, that's what, leaders really do. Great leaders are constantly getting downloads and knowing when to act and how to act, right? And that's your connection to nature that's really coming through. And that's why you are such a positive person, regardless of how much hardship might be existing internally or externally, right? How much disharmony may be, is because, when you look to nature, you see that sometimes the best regeneration happens after like a horrific disaster, right? It's like that saying of there's like this I don't want to say metaphor, but there's a story of, I know I'm going to butcher it, but there's a story of an old man who, like, his son got in an accident, and everyone rushed up to him and were like, oh, we're so sorry, that's such terrible news. And he was like, maybe. And they all rushed off, right? And then, the recruiters were coming around for the army or something, and everyone, all men, had to show up unless they were injured. So his son was injured, so he couldn't go to the army. So all the people rushed over and were like, oh my gosh, this is such great news, right? And he says, maybe, right? That's kind of his disposition, is maybe. And so that continues to happen, to where, someone perceives, like a large amount of people would perceive an event to be good, and they'll run over and be like, oh my God, it's so good. And this guy is just essentially neutral to no matter what good things, no matter what negative things come in, because ultimately he understands that he's not going to see the full picture just from this limited perspective, but he can trust that it's all of the puzzle pieces will make sense eventually, even if not within this lifetime, right? And so that kind of trust that right, you get that when you observe nature. It's this the saying, I think it was Alan Watts, I'm not sure who said this, but understanding that sometimes really great things, really fortunate things lead to misfortune, just like unfortunate things can lead to our greatest fortune, right? So again, it's like not putting your eggs in any one basket for any one reason, but just you are an individual that you're really good at playing the game. You're really good at playing the game, and you've removed your sense of failure or success from those fleeting things on the planet. It's like you've really come a ways to where you're learning where true success and true failure, that's something that's experienced internally, and it's you know, we generally feel very successful regardless of what's happening outside of us, outside of ourselves, when we are when we feel that we're mastering ourselves more and more internally. And so I'm hearing that that is one of your greatest gifts, what you embody. There's a lot of gifts came through this pile. But yeah, thank you for being here. If this video resonated, please give this a thumbs up and leave any synchronicities in the comment section if you're inspired to do so. And I hope I see you soon. What is up, pile number 5? Here is your reading for what you are here to illuminate on the planet at this time. So my pile number 5s, you guys are coming through as extremely competent and bright and very successful individuals. I am hearing that a lot of people feel like you dropped from heaven, that you are not of this world, that you are literally heaven sent, right? We have earthed here, you know, being in the world but not of it, learning how to be human, right? So this is showing up in the placement of what one of your biggest gifts is. And, you know, these are really my esoteric people. These are my mystics. These are my yogis. These are individuals that I feel like have probably studied the lives of the ascended masters, or you're really drawn to those teachings like Buddha teachings, or even, you know, certain chapters in the Bible, things like Course of Miracles, things, you know, books and resources and teachings that come from high level beings that have achieved really enlightened states, or gotten close to it, or who have even tapped into samadhi and, you know, maybe even gone through a mahasamadhi experience where they could, you know, that's essentially where beings can choose when they consciously leave their bodies in meditation, right? So yeah, one of ultimately you you just stand out no matter where you go. And I feel like this is a group, I'm hearing that there is a lot of physical attraction about you, and that might rope people in the beginning, or they might think that's why they're drawn to you. And maybe at first that might be the case, but, you know, as we illuminate internally, that literally affects our appearance as well, right? That changes on it's a very subtle level, but that can actually change your facial structure. That can change the way people are receiving you, right? It's like you become more attractive, and you are very attractive because you have gone in, right? This is my group of yogis and of hermits and people that really practice meditation and, you know, have probably dabbled in different visualization techniques and breathing techniques and different types of yogas. Some of that might apply, all of it might apply, but ultimately you guys are the beings that are engaging a lot in meditation, contemplation, or concentration, which is essentially, you know, the 3 main paths that lead to self-realization. Oh, what a beautiful sunrise is happening. One of your main gifts is really showing people how to live that life of non-duality and of, you know, not creating moralistic assumptions around the game of polarities and the dance of polarities. So in other words, you don't assume someone is all bad just because they've had an incarnation where they've made a lot of decisions out of confusion, right? Because that takes a really high level being, a very awakened being, to understand that, you know, we are not the sum total. The truth of us is not the sum total of our actions and our deeds, right? That's just karma. That's just the subconscious playing itself out. And so I feel like this is a group, one of the gifts, what you are here to illuminate to other people is the understanding that when we hurt other people and when we cause suffering, it's because we're suffering ourselves and we're operating under more veils of illusion, right? Because the less veils of illusion, the more you do this process of purification, which you guys are coming through as someone that goes through a lot of purification and is about that life, that ascension life, right? That life of upgrading. You understand that the more that you purify and the more that you remove the veils, the less likely you are to create suffering for other people, right? And so, you know, one thing that you're here to illuminate for other people is really how to pave their own way and really how to make decisions that are in alignment for themselves and not accommodating other people's misperceptions, or accommodating other people's ideas of who you should be in order to make them happy. Again, so it's like you're coming across as someone that is very extremely magnetic. And, one thing that you're here to illuminate to people is that when you really are in alignment with your soul stream and your higher self, that anything is fucking possible, man. And I feel like people just watch you attract things. You're coming across as someone that is very entrepreneurial, right? There's a lot of cause for celebration is what I'm hearing. And I feel like part of that celebration is because, oftentimes, this is not always the case, but oftentimes, this has been my experience with older souls and advanced souls, is there tends to be a lot of darkness and confusion early in incarnation, right? But there's a deeper part. Oh, I'm hearing Shine Bright Like a Diamond might be a relevant song for some of you guys. But there's even a deeper part of you guys when you were younger, when you went through negative experiences, like you were so tuned into your soul stream that you understood it was for a reason, right? You understood that it was for, that there was something to it that was inherently here to make you a badass, to make you the badass that you are, right? Because the Four of Wands can really just talk about celebration, right? This is really a card of celebration and coming together. It can mean different things for different people, but ultimately paired here with the King of Wands, I am hearing it's, you're just celebrating how far you've come, and you're celebrating the fact that it seems like you rarely have to really lift a finger, right? I'm seeing this woman as she's kind of just chilling there, right? With that illuminated ball in her hand, but it seems like you rarely have to lift a finger, but when you set your sights towards something, it's like there's this wellspring of energy that's available to you, because generally it's in alignment. It's in alignment with the gifts that you're here to fine tune and what you're here to bring to the planet. And so I feel like people overall, like that's one thing that you're here to help illuminate for other people, is that when you're in alignment with your higher self, and when you're in alignment with, when it's my will is thy will, when it becomes that, you have a wellspring of energy and resources that become available to you. Right place, right time, right conversation, right person, right? It's like you show people that life of flow that's untethered to the systems. It's untethered to mind and security and wanting to establish safety in things that you're never going to find true safety in and true security in, right? With all of this fire too, it's just, you're an extremely inspired individual, and fire lights fire. So, your fire and your conviction and just your vision for what's possible for your life, it can't help but rub off on other people. So I'm hearing that's one of your main gifts. And one of the main things you're here to help illuminate is sparking that fire, helping other people find their inner fire, and aligning with something that is much higher, much more significant than just their sense of being the separate, small, limited self, right? Without a vision, the people perish. So you really show people the importance of having a vision that's aligned with something bigger than just your individual incarnation. Because at that point, if you can, your perspective is so narrow focused just to what's going on in your life, etc. That's where, people lose compassion, right? That's where empathy is lost as well. That's where we can't really relate to other people because we think it's just happening to us. Like it's that victim type of energy, versus when you're zoomed out, you're really seeing things for what they are. And you're like, oh, everyone's going through their own bullshit, man. Everyone's karmas and their planets, their astrologies, everything is set up uniquely in their favor, right? Because everything we understand, everything is very significant. Nothing is by accident, and it's all here for a reason. It's all perfect as it is. But that doesn't mean that, we can understand things are perfect and that we're perfect inherently. However, you're an individual because you're always looking forward. Your eyes are always on the horizon, always looking to new adventures, to new collaborations, to doing new things that kind of show and honor this devotion and the celebration that you have for life overall. So I hope this reading brought value to your day. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave any comments in the comment section, like synchronicities is what I mean by that. And I hope I see you guys soon. What's up, group number 6? Here is your reading for what you are here to illuminate on the planet at this time. So first and foremost, what I'm hearing from this pile, I heard Earth Mother. When I was first tuning into the energies of this pile, I heard Earth Mother. And that you don't even have to be, regardless of gender. I'm just hearing that one of your main gifts for people and for humanity at this time is there's like this energy of pure nurturance that's coming through in your presence, that feeling that you get when you spend time in nature, when you look out into the ocean, or when you get to the summit of a mountain that you've been hiking and you look over, and it's that feeling of everything is going to be okay. And it's that feeling of not knowing, and knowing how small and insignificant that this life is. Like, this is what I'm hearing you bring to other people. It's like you remind other people, this is one of your gifts, is you're able to recognize this, right? And so people feel that from your aura. It seeps from your aura of, understanding our place in this world, which is very short and very insignificant in the grand scheme of things, right? Very significant, but also very insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And so I'm hearing that one of your gifts is you give yourself permission to merge with the natural rhythms and to come back to nature and to what she has to teach us. Right? So I am hearing overall that you guys give yourself permission to take things slowly. It's like you're not in a rush. One of your gifts and what you show people is that, in this hustle and bustle, go, go, go type of modern culture that we find ourselves in, where productivity is key. It's like you show people, it's just, there's a certain type of confidence you emanate because you don't buy into that bullshit. And I'm hearing that overall you take things slow and you prioritize yourself, right? Become a priority in life. Yeah, you are a priority in your own life. You prioritize your healing. You prioritize your connection to nature. I wouldn't be surprised if you even prioritize your connection to animals, the animal kingdom, and their purity and their innocence and their ability to remind us of the simplicity of things. And they have this ability to remind us of the insanity of our own minds, the insanity of humanity, right? And so that's also the beauty of it. So one of your gifts is you recognize this, you emanate this, you kind of show people that, there's two ways that we can live life, right? And it's one where we're always in a hustle and bustle to get somewhere and go somewhere with this Two of Wands, one that is depleted of life force, right? And we're just running off of we're running off of ama, or in Ayurveda that essentially means we're just running off of, the fumes of dis-ease, right? And so I feel like you show people that, you can live that life, or you can live in a way where you're taking things slow, and because so things just work out even better in your favor. You're not rushing, right? I'm hearing the saying, man's dreary desires or impatient desires are violently fulfilled or long delayed, right? It's the sense of you just taking your time and like, I'm not going to rush this shit, right? What you illuminate too is you tell people, you're like, you can avoid so much of these moments of huge upheaval and feeling like things are disastrous and falling apart around you by slowing down, by taking your time, by not rushing, by not jumping to conclusions or jumping into relationships or just jumping, right? By following the scatteredness of your five senses, right? In the Bhagavad Gita, I believe this imagery is used of Krishna directing Arjuna to get the five horses, which represents the five senses, to get them all working in a unified way versus all of the senses being scattered. And, you can see how when our senses are scattered and when there's a lot of stimulation and, stimulation nation, and where everyone is, their awareness is over here and they're eating this thing over here and they're at the whim of their senses. You can see how someone wouldn't get really far in life, right? But when there's a unified force, when there's a unified sense of consciousness, then you can go really far in a short amount of time. But that requires focus, that requires slowing down, that requires being present to this moment, right? Being fully here, fully now. And so while humanity, I feel like, is a long ways away from that, from being there, it's, we have a lot of beautiful beings on this planet that are really paving the way for that, including you, pile number 6. So ultimately, I feel like what you're here to illuminate for people is that unless they truly face themselves, unless they really, put their big girl boys and panties on, then, who's really making the decisions, right? The being that's really making decisions, it's just the karma, right? It's just, again, your senses pulling you around, your desires, your lusts, those things that repel you, those things that you're disgusted by, those awkward situations you want to avoid, or those hard conversations you want to avoid. You understand that's not a way to live, right? And when you're living from that level of avoiding things and avoiding your life lessons and your soul lessons, you're going to have a lot of these tower moments where everything's ripped apart. But ultimately, even then, you're like, but it ain't no thing, because ultimately, the goal, everything that's in place is to lead you to that place of that seat of transcendence within you. And so I feel like, yeah, you are here to illuminate that sense of prioritizing the things that are going to allow us to die well, right? And so that's something my Ayurveda teacher actually says is, whatever is going to allow you to die well, that's how you should live, right? So looking back on when you're on your deathbed, if you can imagine that, looking back, and what did you prioritize, right? Did you prioritize making a name for yourself and getting ahead of everyone and your career over your kids and your family and your close friends, right? Like, where is your energy going? And this is not even something to beat yourself up over, right? But again, when we slow down, we have more access to greater Shakti. We start to develop more Shakti, where we have epiphanies. We realize things about ourselves or about our path, or it's only when we slow down that we can really start to be honest and see, right? We're really looking in the mirror. We're taking that time for true honesty to see, like, am I really living a life that is devoted to something I believe in? Am I really living a life that is authentic to me and that truly brings me into moments where I'm experiencing greater amounts of happiness, deeper moments of peace, right? And that's happening more frequently. Or am I living a life that is kind of causing the opposite, right? But we only are gifted with those moments when we are slow, when we're taking time in nature, right? Again, one of your biggest gifts is you naturally emanate that. You have perfected that. I wouldn't even be surprised if you guys have had lifetimes where you were yogis and you meditated on mountaintops, for extended amounts of time, or sadhus, these sadhus that we hear of India, these wandering sadhus, right? But yeah, that's overall why I think I probably heard Earth Mother, because you're just so tender. You're caring, you're compassionate, and you bring people back in touch, right? A really good mother, in my most humble of opinions, a really good mother, no matter what's happening in life, can always bring things into perspective, and can always bring a level of like, it's all going to be good, sweetie, right? It's all going to be okay. That's what, and all mothers have that. We all have that, whether you're a mother or not, whether you're a father, right? Fathers have that too, but it's just that sense of that tenderness and that reminding of it. It's all going to be good, right? And there's no rush to get there. You'll get there no sooner, no later than you're meant to. So pal number 6, I hope this brought you some peace, some contentment, some confirmations. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. Any synchronicities that came up for you, leave those in the comments. I love reading how these readings are landing for you guys, and I do hope I see you guys soon.